Roll for random encounter.
Welcome back to the Random Encounter Show. I'm DeathStalker V. We're back down at the table with yet again another unboxing episode. Get used to it for a little while. It won't last forever. But today we've got two nice heavy boxes from Troll Lord Games. One of my favorite gaming companies. With Troll Lord Games, before we even bust into these packages and see what we bought from them, I really love the company, their values, their ideas, the guys that run it. You know, they love the hobby. They're passionate about the hobby, but they also avoid all the politics in the hobby and just put out great gaming products. So, yeah, how I fell in love with them, because they have several games. I own most of them. But a little game called, as you probably already know if you've been around the hobby long enough, Castles and Crusades. I have a massive Castles and Crusade collection because it is my most played fantasy role-playing game. So therefore it's more than likely my favorite fantasy role-playing game. I hate to play favorites, but it is everything you wanted D&D to be after 2nd edition. How about we put it that way? It's got modern mechanics. It has ways to resolve everything with the Siege engine rule set. It's like a Rosetta Stone of Dungeons and Dragons, basically. Almost anything that's made for Dungeons and Dragons will work for Castles and Crusades. But this is not a review of Castles and Crusades. This isn't an opening. Since we're doing Castles and Crusades, I have my Castles and Crusades coffee mug with me. Why not? What an appropriate coffee mug to drink from during the video. So, cheers to Troll Lord Games. So, down to us opening packages. We've got 2 packages. We'll start with the smallest one. Now, like I said, I have a massive collection of Castles and Crusades materials, from their world settings to their rule books to their adventure modules. I love it. I eat it up. It's perfect for solo play, even though they don't advertise it for solo play. And they make a lot of tools that solo players will find to be some of the best they can have in their arsenal. And again, they don't gear it toward solo play. But us solo players, we know how to look for things. And the first box is going to be one of those tools. So, without further ado, here's Lucky! Let's bust in and see what we did. We put Lucky on the strop, so he should be a little sharper. But yeah, he can't guest star on this show without being sharp, huh? Or at least sharper than DeathStalker V. So let's get into here and see what we got. And these are all first looks for me. This material literally just released this week. I jumped on board. I had to have it. And while I was there picking up these books, I went ahead and got some more that I really wasn't planning on getting, but I couldn't resist. And a bunch of other stuff as well. It's in the bigger box here. But let's get into what we got here. First looks. We got the soft cover. It's a smaller book. $9.99. It's a book of names. And what this is a name generator for fantasy role-playing games. So we have the book of names contains dwarves, elves, gnomes, halflings, hobgoblins, humans, goblins, orcs, half-orcs, ungern, which is a specific type of creature in Castles and Crusades. So yeah, a name generator. And there are a lot of name generators out there, but I've always been so impressed. Davis Chenault wrote this. He's one of the Chenault brothers. Him and Stefan. You know, it's they're just fantastic guys, and like I said, we're gonna get them on the show. But the Book of Names is a specific generator for your fantasy role-playing games, Castles and Crusades in particular, but it will work for any rule set that you choose for it to. We have the NPC, let's see if we can get it without a glare, the NPC Almanac registry, or register I should say. Beautiful covers, hardback. Let's see. Every game has them host of unnamed, faceless, personality-lacking entities that mock both players and castle keepers, which is what a game master or a dungeon master is called in Castles and Crusades. With their amorphous shapes, essential parts of any role-playing game, the NPC is often the most overlooked. With the NPC Almanac Register, that problem becomes a thing of the past. Here is a veritable rogues gallery of NPCs, or non-player characters. The register consists of a series of tables for scores of NPCs, both class-based and hirelings. These NPC entries include all the info you need to place the NPC in your game and begin play. They contain name, sex, appearance, personality, hook, alignment, level, and statistics, primary attributes, etc. So this is geared, again, for Castles and Crusades specifically, but will work with just about any role-playing game, especially Dungeons and Dragons. With the Dungeons and Dragons converting Castles and Crusades stuff over to Dungeons and Dragons, just about any edition, are translating the Dungeons and Dragons stuff from any edition over to Castles and Crusades. It's so easy that you can do it on your fingers and your toes. Okay, it doesn't get much better than that, and that's how DeathStalker V likes it. But let's take a look inside. So, it appears we have lots of NPC generators. Lots of them. We have lots of professions like a butcher, a bowyer, a blacksmith, a tanner, a tavern keeper, a tax collector, etc. We have class-based NPCs like assassins, barbarians, knights, druids, magic users, monks, paladins. I mean, the list goes on and on. We have engineering NPCs, which give us all the information for that particular NPC, like hair color, motivation, alignment, race, sex, attributes, class levels, armor, potions. I mean, just everything you could think of. So, yeah, you solo players out there, this is a spectacular resource, I can already tell, to generate myriad numbers of NPCs to drop right into your game. And of course, the Book of Names is handy to have right alongside it, you know. Now we get the NPC Almanac. Get in there. Another beautiful hardcover book. And who did this one for us? I'm not sure Davis was the main author. Of course, these books normally consist of a lot of people contributing at Troll Lord Games, but the main author of this seems to be Davis. So, but Castles and Crusades NPC Almanac Sketches. The NPC is an essential part of any role-playing game, and Castles and Crusades is no exception. NPCs play a variety of roles, from the barkeep at the tavern that passes on juicy rumors for a few coins, to the well-paid henchman who drags the wounded character to safety and healing. The NPC Almanac Sketches consist of collections of long and short NPC entries, both class-based and hirelings and adherents. These NPC entries include all the information you need to place the NPC in your game and begin play. They contain name, complete description, a little background, gender, appearance, personality, hook, alignment, and where called for, their stats. With hundreds of NPCs presented, it is the perfect resource for your role-playing game. Again, great for solo play. Now you don't even have to generate unique NPCs. You can take a look in this book and find some that are perfect for your campaign that's already pre-made. We have professions, again, like jewelers, leather workers, locksmiths, barkeeps, beggars, blacksmiths, etc. We have caravan NPCs. We have villains. We have monstrous NPCs. We have class-based NPCs. And we have Hall of Legends and Heroes of Eird. Eird is their just spectacular world setting. And a lot of their adventures and modules take place in Eird. It's just great. We're going to get into Castles and Crusades, guys, because like I said, it's our main game on this table for fantasy role-playing. But all three of these came out, like I said, earlier this week. They actually were on a Kickstarter in DeathStalker V fashion. He doesn't really do Kickstarters. He gets them when they come on retail. So we got our 3 books that can become solo generating tools for all of our sandbox style and really almost any style of solo play campaigns. So yeah, very handy tools. Review will be incoming at some point when we go over our solo tools for solitaire role-playing games. Come back out, Lucky. We've got one more thing to go. Like I said, there's some stuff in here. There's some stuff I didn't have. There are some newer versions of things in here, specifically the Player's Guide or the Player's Handbook, the Monsters and Treasures book, and the Castle Keeper's Guide. With these, they're not new editions; they're new printings. That's a good point to make. Just like Tunnels and Trolls, one of the things I admire about these systems, that even though they go through various printing and editions or whatever you want to call it, they make sure all their material is compatible with the editions or printings that come before them. Makes sense? I like that. But, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, here we go. My favorite edition of Dungeons & Dragons is Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition. It was the first edition of Dungeons & Dragons I had access to, that I owned. I tell the story about that in a video called, My Early Gaming Stories. And I will elaborate on my history with D&D and stuff in the future. But yeah, the Dungeon Master's Guide that I'm holding, I chose it specifically because I believe this is the single most important book ever written, published, printed, whatever, for role-playing games in the hobby. I don't think any book has ever outdone this book, not at least that I've found. So, yeah, I wanted to show you the cover here because I have this printing of the Player's Book, and I think it's the 7th, and I think it's the 5th printing of the Castle Keeper's Guide, and the 4th printing or the 2nd printing of Monsters and Treasures. They just came out with here in the last year. I was very happy with these books. I didn't see everything I want is in the Castles and Crusades rule sets. What I want rule-wise, classes, magic, etc., already exist. But they did do a few minor tweaks. They did move some of the information over from the Castle Keeper's Guide over to the Player's Handbook. And I think they adjusted a few spell levels and stuff. I don't know. We'll have to take a closer look. But the thing that got me about these and that I could not resist any longer was the fact that they did tribute covers to the first edition AD&D book covers. So we'll compare the Castle Keeper Guide with the Dungeon Master's Guide and see how close they came. On top of the box, I see the Player's Handbook, and I already see why it's called a tribute cover. That is beautiful. They're still trying to get that eye out of the statue. That is beautiful. So this is, with Castles and Crusades, again, we're getting too much into a review, but you really only need 2 books. Monsters and Treasures and your Player's Handbook, and you've got all the rules to play. Castle Keeper Guide, it comes very close in scope to the first edition AD&D DMG. Very close. Okay, it's right up there. But yeah, I can tell off the bat that this book's much thicker than the old one. But like I said, I know they've added higher levels that used to be. This went through like level 12, I think, and all the way up to level 24 was in the Castle Keeper's Guide. But I think they expanded the classes to include all of the information up to level, at least level 20, if I remember, if I read correctly. And that does seem to be the effect. We got brand new artwork. You know, these books have fantastic art. Troll Lord Games has some great artists. You know, and that's one thing DeathStalker V can appreciate, is game art. It helps with the immersion into the game for me, especially while reading rules. So, yeah, that tribute cover though, and then it continues on the back. Okay, I'm in love. I'm in love. What do you want me to say? What else did we get? Part of the bundle that I ordered were a nice pad of character sheets, and these are actually class-based character sheets that they give. Now, there's a standard character sheet. I'm sure it's in the Player's Handbook and on Troll Lord Games' website that you can download, and that's probably what I'll use. But having these specific, you know, like this is the Fighter and Ranger pad, double-sided, nice thick too. So these could be used. These could be used for a while. Here's for the Rogue, Assassin, and I'm pretty sure you'll have like some Cleric and Druid. You know, come on. Great stuff. So it's neat to have, you know, the additional information for whatever class you're playing at the bottom of your character sheet. Just as a reminder. I love it. Let me dig through here. And we're going to set some stuff to the side. Ooh, holy moly. Monsters and Treasures. Now, I'm not sure what changed in this book, if anything, other than it having a tribute cover. I'm not sure. Like I said, we'll do a comparison video on the Castles and Crusades printing differences, possibly. But look at there. Anybody that had the old Monster Manual, first edition AD&D, automatically sees what I'm talking about. Why I had to have these covers on my Castles and Crusade rule books. And, oh yeah, I forgot. Troll Lord Games, thanks Tim Burns. Okay, let me give a big shout out to Tim. I asked him nicely, could he do me a favor? And we had our rule book signed. That's right. And let's see. Yes. Stefan Chenault, who is, him and his brother are the main guys over at Troll Lord. You know, he signed our books, our rule books. And this signature, good for +4 bonus, 4 2-hit or damage, used once or spread out once per game. S. Chenault 2022 and Trollza. So big thank you to Stefan, big thank you to Tim for making that happen. You know, that's special. That's something great for the show. And he also, you know, he gave us a little signature over here on Monsters and Treasures as well. And I'm sure let's get the packing peanuts out of the way. Oh, it actually tastes sort of like a peanut. The Castle Keeper's Guide with the big red Ifrit, or Jinn, or as some people used to say, the demon, attacking the adventurers on the cover. Look at there. You know, for a little comparison. Oh, yeah. Huh? I'm in. I'm in. Again, a fantastic tome. Like I said, outside of the first edition AD&D Dungeon Master Guide, which I think is the most important role-playing game book ever made, this is a close runner-up. This is a close runner-up. This is a fantastic resource. I don't care what role-playing game you play. Review. Keep me on track, guys. Reach through the camera, smack me around a few times. So we got signed copies of the tribute covers. Yes. What else did we get here? We have a small one-shot campaign called Reaping Bones. So, running a paladin through, it appears, you know, it's a campaign against the undead, maybe a necromancer or something. No spoilers, I don't know, just from the cover. Looks like it'd be fun to take a paladin through, or a cleric. Something a little different. Up next, something that I saw that I grabbed for solo play. They make quite a few of these little things we'll go over, but this is Quick Threats and Side Treks. Within Quick Threats and Side Treks, you'll find 18 short encounters, each involving a monster taken from the pages of Monster and Treasure. Each encounter is designed for rapid play to be inserted in an ongoing game or adventure. The level of encounters varies between entries. So this is great, solo play. Put these on a table and roll them up if you need a quick encounter for a solo game, or if you're running group play, roll it up, you know, so easy to drop in things. This one we grabbed, I've been staring at it a while. It's supposed to be pretty, out there, you know, but I absolutely love the cover of it. Fantastic Adventure, the Fantastic Adventure. And these things we may play solo, and I'll show you how to use pre-written adventure modules for solo, and the difference between like a plot-based adventure module, which we normally avoid, and a sandboxy location-based one, which make perfect resources for solo campaigns. Shadows of the Halfling Hall. Player's Guide to the Haunted Highlands. Okay. These are all soft cover. This will go to a Hallowed Oracle, which was a fantastic campaign setting and player's resource book, The Hallowed Ring. And then we have the Book of the Dead. Ooh. Libris Necromus. But I'm just taking a look through here. And this is actually, it appears to be an adventure. I didn't know if it would be like spells for the day, like necromancy or an adventure, but it is that, and I think it's going to drop right into our Codex Egyptius, you know, an Egyptian Codex. We'll get into that. Like I said, Castles and Crusades is the game you want. Okay, I will promote it over other games. It's the edition of D&D you're looking for. Anyways, guys, I'm so happy and so excited to dig into this, and of course, I get to dig into it with you here on the Random Encounters show as we go. And one neat thing about buying more Castles and Crusade stuff is that I have so much, I get to add it to the shelves, and the wife will never know. It blends right in. Anyways, I'm DeathStalker V. This has been the Random Encounters show, and see you guys next time.
Hey, this is DeathStalker V. If you like the Random Encounters show, make sure you're subscribed to our channel so that you'll be the first to know when we upload a new episode. Want to support the show? Head over to Questing Table Studio on Facebook. Let us help you bring your table to life with miniature painting services and terrain.